Hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz and welcome to the Front Lines. The Front Lines is the battle stations for the front lines. That's not, sorry, I'm a little bit off center. I've got kind of a ringing in my ears, kind of like I got water in my ears, and so it's playing, odd audio with me, so this came out a little bit strange there. Anyway, thanks for joining again on the front lines in the battle against the cabal, the deep state, the Lumadonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. And those selfish reasons have been made clear in an old document translated from French, and it's making its way around, really laying out what they've done to society. We may go through that. It is actually quite long, so I have not finished reading it. I'm only about maybe halfway through it, and probably with my ear in this current condition, maybe not the best way for me to read something, because it's going to play a little hard with me with a ringing in my ears. So. Anyway, well, what we will do though is go over a few other interesting things. One, I've had a lot of people contacting me asking me about the volcano, and am I in any danger? And in fact, my ex-wife asked me, because she knows I'm fairly close to where it is, and I said, you got a little bit of ash fall and got some. Earthquakes happening, and a little bit of lava flow through the living room. Of course, I was joking about the lava flow. No lava flow. But what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and let me show you a little bit about that. Let's see. So this is the volcano. Now, when I first saw this one, I thought, wow, I'm expecting, Godzilla to pop through at any moment, right? Now, this is literally plasma discharges lightning inside the volcano, right? Amazing, isn't it? Check that out. And with this, you can actually see this is actually more the truth behind lightning. A lot of people think that lightning comes down from the sky, and it actually doesn't. It actually travels from the earth up. But everyone thinks it comes from the sky down, but it doesn't. It goes the other way. So now this volcano is last time it erupted was 40 years ago. So it's been kind of like taking a nap. It isn't one of those active volcanoes. Now I live on an inactive volcano that has a lot of hot springs. So it's kind of I am getting some rumbling throughout the day, but I'm not really worried about it. And the dog is saying that he's not also worried about it. So yeah, so this is a plume of ash, 15 kilometers high. That's okay. So let me go on here. This is a map. So on the down here at the bottom, where you see this Taal Lake, Taal Lake, with the red dot here, that is the volcano. Right up here, towards the top of the map, is Manila. So the distance from here to there, if you were to drive on this highway and go down to here straight, from starting at about the airport, which is this little grayish area right here where the airport is, and go straight down to get to about right here is about 45 minutes. So you can say it's another half an hour. So about an hour and a half south of Manila by way of the roads here. It'll get you down to where the lake is and a little bit further over. So right here where it says Calamba City, that's more or less where I'm at. So when I look out over the day and I see this lake over here, Laguna Bay. If you see there's an island here in the middle of this lake, let's see, right? If the volcano was there, it'd be like I was like sitting like right here. That'd be pretty close. Just go over here. It's the same like as if I was like living here in let's say Tagaytay, this area over here. Very beautiful area, Tagaytay. A lot of people like to have homes there. It's a beautiful area, more upper scale type of area, and oversee the lake. Right, and then, of course, they would have a beautiful view of this volcano. So a lot of this video that we're looking at over here was basically from Tagaytay, or they're watching this. I think I'd slowed this down at once before. I'm going to go down to slow this down, go quarter speed. Hope you can still see that. So we'll go to where it's going to show the lightning going up, and then we'll stop it there. See that plume coming up, and see all of the reactions, right, with the atmosphere. Yeah, and I fully expect Godzilla to pop out of here. You hear the Godzilla roar. It is quite beautiful, though. Now I have in my generator, I've got quarter see how the lightning is growing up? You can definitely see it now. See that again. Up it goes. All right. Let's stop that for a moment. All right. So switch this back over here. Oh, Tank is back. Hey, Tank. Are you there, Tank? He's muted. So, there's a lot of ash and everything. So, we're going around today cleaning up, right? Getting water and throwing it over all the walkways and trying to wash away all of the dust or the lava dust, or what do you call it? Anyway, it's covered everything very, very thin, enough to color it gray. Everything is kind of a grayish color, but it's very thin. This ash, but they do say that the volcano is not done, and they don't know what's going to happen. It literally could go into a much bigger eruption. It's caused some, I had a headache yesterday, things like that. So it's not that bad, though. It's not bad enough to close down all the windows and everything, but there is definitely, I touch things, there's a dust on it. So there is some effect coming from it, but we don't know if it's going to continue to, get bigger. But as I was saying yesterday, we had this major eruption from the sun, and so that energy came into the planet, right? And so it's causing effects to happen, and we can see that there is an effect, not just from this geological manner, but also an effect by way of what's happening in the politics or in the societies or around the world. We see all of the stuff happening in Iran, in Taiwan and Hong Kong, and that there's major, uprisings with this energy release, right? So it's all in motion right now. So we can see that it's happening. We can see it's happening also on the impeachment side. Nancy Pelosi also capitulated and said, "Okay, I'm sending over the articles." Right? And I don't know if that's happened today yet or not, but I think it's something like today, tomorrow, and then they're going to act on it. All right, and I do not know which way it's going to come down, but I do think that Trump wants to have witnesses come up, and I think they're going to use this to beat the drums and bring out evidence. And we can also see that the story is already happening with Nancy Pelosi planting the seeds. It's the Russians. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. And the Washington Times, or not the Washington Post, and the New York Times, they're putting out stories related to Russia doing it again. So we're still in the same morass in regards to the Washington scene, but things are in motion, and we can see that things are going the right way. Tank, you ready to jump in here, or should I keep going? I guess I can keep going. All right, so hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry about that. I just getting some coffee.
Yes. No problem. Yeah, we're gonna have to work on some kind of clue here, so we know whether you're ready or not.
I will unmute. That'll be the definite sign that I'm about to go.
Yeah.
So what's going on, man? A pretty exciting day on our end.
Yeah. Why don't you clue me in? I picked up on some of the stories, but I don't have all the details.
Yeah. Okay. So first we from the tables, and then from a couple other places I ended up getting it from. We got notice from the actual the Kingdom of Manna. So the Kingdom of Manna came out, and they basically let all the military intelligence agencies, the four major superpower governments, the royal families, and the banks know that the entire global financial system, intelligence system, and military systems would be shut down tomorrow on January 15th, 2020, for a period of 24 hours. And every 15 minutes on the hour, the military and intelligence agencies would be able to ask questions about what was going on. And essentially, what I gathered from this is that, oh, and then they said they were doing it to inform everyone, to finally convince everyone that the dragon families were no longer in control. And this is the four, it said like the three major ones, and then the fourth being some random name, right? We're all destroyed, which is all things I believe that they were referring to as things that Kim has done, right? Take out the destroyer. They were doing, but they had different names, right? And basically, they were letting the world know that if they wanted to ask questions, they could, and that's what was happening, right? So I ran this by Kim to be like, I don't know if you saw this, but this is what the latest is on there, right? And she said there is no indication of anything like that happening. So, in my opinion, that's the last thing she said about it. But in my opinion, and she did mention that that Jesper or Michael Uriel, right, / Peter Edelman, whatever, was putting this out all over the place, right? He was spreading this around to different organizations to inform them, of the. And it kept repeating over the His Majesty Michael Uriel, who's basically presenting himself as the king of the planet, is what he's doing, right? And then he's saying, and then we will allow, and this is what it says, how you know the cabal, right? What's funny is like we know that they have bribed different governments, right? Charged them to bring money in. Number one. So we know they are the cabal. They are the dragon families. They represent the same group, right? We know that they have a body double for Kim. We know that we have it documented. Now, in some cases, they say Kim has been removed from her position, but then in other cases, they're working directly with Kim. And in some cases, they show up with a double of Kim, right? So we know that for a fact. So this is what we know beyond a shadow of doubt. There is no question that is a fact. So then for them to turn around and be like, oh, you're liberated. But the only people they talk to, because nobody would have got this communication if we didn't put it out, right? The only people that would have received it is like, the high tables and the banks and the military intelligence, which, we never would have got it, right? Mm-hmm. So, but we intercepted it, and shared it. And then Kim, would have shared it with us and we would have got it out. But so we posted it, right? We shared it with everybody. So now every common person knows out there that this is the case and that we know that this has transpired. So what I think is this, though. You remember that for the past 2 years I've been talking about this, that Kim has said, okay, if you guys are the ones in control, and she's claiming she's in control, let's both of us go to a terminal, right? And at the same time, in front of everybody, you put in your codes, Kim will put in her codes, and we'll see who can bring money down, right? That's what she said all along. So I think this person, now Kim did not say this, but in my opinion, it would appear to me like this is kind of the closest you get to that, right? Because they're saying it's going to shut down. Think about what they're actually saying. They're addressing the financial system, the military, and intelligence. So they're talking about the Kim systems that they know exist, right? So the key integrated military and intelligence system and the key integrated monetary system, right? That's what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So they're talking about shutting that down to show that they're the boss, basically, okay. Right? So I think this is the head-to-head Kim's always wanted.
Okay, round one.
Battle in the Bronx, baby. Battle in the Bronx. Here we go.
Okay, well that's pretty interesting. So, but what is Kim going to do? Make sure it keeps running? What is the?
Kim's not one to play her cards like that. Okay. So But I will say that, interestingly enough, there's a couple things that I do know. I do know that Kim made it so there was a fail-safe, right? So in worst case scenario, so the people wouldn't suffer, if the banks went down, she made it so the ATMs would still work, and we could have a code and we could go up and take money out. That's one thing. With that in mind, one of our people actually was in California today, and they went up to take money out of the ATM, and the ATM was shut down. And then, but they saw the screens, and the screens were white. And then they went across the street to another ATM, and the screens were white there as well. Now remember, the blue screens, gone. The black screens, gone. The gray screens, gone. Kim said the only screens left, they're all the white screens, which she made, which lets you know she's in control. Now, the ideal system would be that instead of having this hierarchy above us, that each one of us would be able to be responsible and have access to move our money however we see fit. So, this is a stretch, but it kind of makes sense to me. Like, well, if you see a white screen, that kind of makes sense. You go to the ATM machine and you have access to your money directly, right? And it's safe, and nobody can mess with it except for you. So I'm hoping that's what's happening. I don't know definitively, but it's pretty exciting stuff going on.
Okay, well, that is definitely exciting. So, so this is not what I was picking up on when you said we had a win. So that's why I said, oh, well, that's even more information. So I don't know what the other win was.
We have other wins. We have several other wins today.
Okay,
So the NLA, National Liberty Alliance, they actually called the grand jury against the governor in Virginia. So this is their first official call to the grand jury, and they're doing it in a great, huge public case, right? So we want to make sure we support the National Liberty Alliance. Please share that information. Let people know the grand jury has been called, that will be acknowledged, and they're going to, say these are, this man is. Oh, not that, but they did it for crimes of treason, saying that he's trying to disarm the public, crimes of treason. So,
well, that's amazing. So I did pick up on, and I did a story yesterday where, they're talking about, that the governor has ordered 10,000 body bags, right? And that there's a gentleman that's gone through and was talking about this on his, he's on his way there for this rally they're going to have on the 20th. Right, and obviously that this is a trap, right? That they want to cause a confrontation they want to have that happen. But this is the time really for everyone to stand up and get there, right, and be part of it. And now, not again to go there to start shooting, right, but to go there armed. And say we will not be disarmed. It is our right to be armed. So anyway,
I agree, and what I would also say is that what I think will happen in this case. Think about who is it? Where would the conflict come from? You have the people, right, and they're standing up and saying, "You're not going to take our weapons." You're not going. I really don't think that other American people, whether it's police or National Guard or whatever, are going to be willing to say, we're going to keep our guns, but you have to give up yours.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, those are American people as well. And I think that will resonate with them, and that they will all stand together. I think this is a massive shift for a unified front.
Well, I think that they're also, and what he was bringing up is it was this governor and the people that have been voted in were voted in by the voting machines, not by the people.
Yeah, and I actually believe that. I think something to that already happened. They actually revoked the ban to disarm the people. That's already came up. I saw it today on Twitter, I think.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. Well,
probably because they're shaking in their boots, right? Because you got a bunch of civilian Virginians who are like, "The hell, you're taking my guns!" Right? They're all showing up in droves, and how can you stop them? You can't. Right. There's not enough police in that area to over. And I'll tell you what, it really ignites a reality that all of us can embrace. Right? Is there's a lot more of us there's a lot more people than there are Cabal, right?
Right.
So just all it takes is just a weekend trip, right? Like a 2-day trip to like just take a stand together and stop messing around like something's more important.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if they could literally remove the governor and the legislature by force, saying that it was not legitimate, that the voting machines were tampered with, or they're under the control of a foreign agent, and that is their reason for basically stepping in and calling for new elections.
Well, they don't even need that. I mean, jurisprudence 177 section 2, it says if any governing official for the state tries to pass off a false mandate as a law that violates our constitutional rights, specifically in this case our fundamental rights, then it is a no law and no one can enforce it, and the militia has a responsibility to remove the public servant who's in that space. So not only can they actually have an obligation to do so. That's what all of us should be doing every time one of these things happens.
So I saw also there's this common law handbook. I have that queued up.
Cool.
Looks like that's. Let me share the screen for this one. So I'm already just showing it to the others. Let me give it to you. This is from National Liberty Alliance, and I think this was, this handbook basically is outlining those same things that you were just saying. What did you say it was? That was the
jurisprudence section 177.
Jury nullification, Kentucky resolutions, justice, the source of virtue, sheriffs, bailiffs. Here are the sections. Misprision of treason, bribery, conspiracy against rights, deprivation of rights under color of law. I don't know. So, clerk is to file civil action for deprivations of rights, or deprivation. Conspiracy to yes.
They've had a lot of success, with basically holding the courts accountable for due process, and all of these things refer back to the due process. Just there's a process, so you can't just take someone's gun because you decided they're dangerous, right? There's a process that has to take place. You can't just force vaccinate the people. There's a process, right. Like you got to test the vaccines, right?
They kind of do a pretend process, right? It's like a process around the edges, right? And then it's like surrounding you every which way, and you really don't have a way to turn. And if you turn to one direction, it was already circumvented, right? So it's kind of like, then it's like, it's almost as if it is law, though it isn't.
Right. But that Marbury versus Madison you just passed by is one of the most important parts, that any law that is, or anything passed that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. That's the key to everything. Mm-hmm. Anything. So now, what is up and coming right now, which we're going after here in New York, and I do have a date on the when the grand jury is being called for that, and I'm not going to share it yet, but I will tell you that we are going after the governor here in New York very aggressively. Because what he has done is repugnant to the Constitution. He has removed the constitutional rights of the American people to falsely mandate vaccinations, which have not been tested. And furthermore, we're going to take that and turn it into a civil case and show exactly how this is a massive racketeering case that we can prove without question with the written documents that are out there. We can show exactly what they've done. So I'm excited about that. It really looks like you have a really strong force coming together. And you know what? Lawful America is going to be very much in support of what National Liberty Alliance is doing. And just
So
trying to expand
I
that
only
influence.
I only perused this. I didn't read it because I just got it off of the group chat in Telegram, wwg1wga.love group. So yeah, there's a lot here, right?
Yes,
So
it's massive.
as a handbook, but still, all in all, it's only 40 pages. So we have 40 pages that outlines everything that you need to that we need as tools to affect change. It's all here. So that's wonderful.
And we will be making that. I've had that for a while actually, but we'll make that available to if anybody wants to get a hold of that. We'll put that on the lawforamerica.com. I'll ask that permission first, but we'll put it out there.
All right, awesome. Yeah, no, that was good. So a lot of good information coming through. But we're this is a time really that everyone should be so excited because everything that I've experienced, Mile, and I all these other people who've been trying at their tactics at going at this, all of them get beaten down along the way. And it hasn't been until now that we've had this real opportunity to really change things, and it hasn't come around before. I mean, we've all been pushing and pushing and pushing, and a lot of people get tired and they get so much thrown on top of them, and they fall into financial ruin, right? Because they're trying to stand up for everybody, and the system keeps pushing back. But now we actually have. Not just made steps, but we've run a mile. I mean, we're so far like down the line now. But those forces, they're not just going to give up. They're going along with their plans. Their whole life has been about getting set up for this, or everything that they've been trained for says this is the way things are, and they were made all sorts of promises. All sorts of their retirements and their monies and everything, all tied up into the governing structure, right? So they're just not going to give up, right? So the only thing we can do is extract them. Like I said yesterday, like with the tentacles, right? They're just they don't want to let go. They just don't want to let go, right? So because they don't know anything else. Right? So,
you know what though? I'm a big fan of using their weapons against them, right? So they've used our silence as our consent, right? Now, did you see this Representative Matz, I think his name is, or something like that, today, or I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but recently, right? He posed this question to whoever the individuals were investigating, and they were challenging President Trump in this whole Soleimani, the death of Soleimani. So he asked what I really consider to be a transitional point in the entire war, right? You want to know when the war was won? In my opinion, what this man said shut them down. He looked at them. He goes, okay. He goes, I have a question. He goes, it might seem rhetorical. He goes, but I'm not asking it as a rhetorical question. This is a real question. He said, if you go out this room, you take a right, and then another right, you'll come to a space where you have all of these men's names and men and women's names on the wall. Those are the men and women who have been killed in the war against terrorism, right? He said, now, can you please tell me which one of those names is not worth the death of Soleimani? And it was like dead silence. And then Nadler's, corrupt self goes, okay, Representative Matz, you made your point, right? And he goes, I have not yielded my time. He goes, I have 2 minutes and 34 seconds, and I will wait for an answer. It was so powerful because, and then he argued with him, and he goes, Nadler was like, you're out of line. He goes, no, you're out of line, and he's right. You are out of line. This is my time. I'll spend it as I see fit. God forbid you let people just sit and think about what he just said. And that's what they're afraid of. Because the white noise being created by the nonstop barrage of lies.
right.
And then somebody asks one question that I dare you. What he did was he drew a line in the sand. He said, if you dare, what are they going to do? Give a name? They can't. Can't give a name on that. So at the end of the day, What is your argument? Like, enough already. We all see what's right and wrong. Speak to the spirit of the law rather than the heart of your agenda to dethrone the president and completely negate the will of the people to elect this man, right? Because he's not doing what you want. That's the reality, right? And it's deeper than that even. But
Was it Gates that gave that question?
no, and I'm definitely saying the wrong name, and I apologize. I've never seen him speak before. Shoot, yeah.
Is this it's in the House of Representatives, and it was with Nadler?
Yeah. I'll pull it up here. It's some, he's bald, and that's the only way I can identify him right now. I've never seen him before,
Right.
but it was one of those, like, think about it. I've watched Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan, and one of these other guys. They have made absolutely shut down the argument. Jim Jordan gets up there and he's like, 4 facts will never change, right? How is there even a discussion, to be honest, right? It's like, what are we even talking about? Like, you have no business saying another thing at this point because those 4 facts have not changed. Nothing has changed. Why are you still talking, right? But what happens is they just ignore. They don't care, right? And so they just start making up, yelling more. So nobody catches on. Nobody catches on what's happening. And this guy shut it down because he asked one real question, and I think it was on CSNBC.
Right.
Which I thought that was pretty amazing myself. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it. One
You got
second,
it?
I'll show it to you.
Who was it?
Oh, it is Representative Brian Mast.
MAST?
Yeah. Here, I can share with you. Let's see. Share.
If you provide me one name on that wall
Right here.
that doesn't justify. Now I want to ask a question. Some people might call this rhetorical, but I'm not going to ask it as rhetorical. There's a number of my colleagues still remaining here. I am more than willing to yield to any of my colleagues that want to answer this question. If you walk out this hallway and you take a right and another right and another right, you're going to come to several beautiful walls that have the names of our fallen service members from the War on Terror. And I would ask, can any of you provide me one name on that wall that doesn't justify killing Suleiman? I got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll be more than happy to sit here and wait. Somebody provide me with a name on that wall that does not justify his killing.
The gentleman may continue.
I'm continuing, Mr. Chairman. I got 2 minutes remaining. I will sit here and wait for somebody to provide me with a name on that wall that does not justify the killing of Suleiman.
Thank you, Mr. Mass. I think you made your point. Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Chairman, I have not yielded back my time, and I still have a minute and 45 seconds.
You're disrupting the
I will
procedures
not
right
yield
now.
back my time, Mr. Chairman.
You're disrupting
I have a
the
minute and
procedures, Mr.
45
Mass.
seconds remaining, of which I would like to wait for somebody to provide me with a name
I
of
think
somebody on our
you've made your
memorial wall
points.
who does
You're out
not
of order, Mr.
justify
Mass.
the killing of Suleiman.
You are out
I
of
will
order.
not yield
You are
back
out
my
of
time.
order, Mr. Mass.
I will not
Chair,
yield back my
made your
time.
point.
I am
Mr.
not out
Chair,
of order.
Mr.
You
Chair,
are
I'll yield a minute
Mr.
of-
Chairman, for reclaiming this time.
Mr. Chair, I'll yield a minute of my time to Mr. Mass.
Well, he's got time.
Thank you. Thank you, my colleague. I appreciate it.
Now, right here is when Nadler's guys, his handlers, get up and they're whispering in his ear.
I don't think it's Nadler. It's someone else.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
You're right.
Mr. Chair, if I might begin.
Yeah,
Thank you for yielding me your time, although I did not yield my time back. I thank you. I will note that there was no response of one name offered that did not justify the killing of Suleiman.
There we go.
Now, I know the idea of dead air time sometimes is like frowned upon, but God forbid we just think about the question. I mean, what a powerful moment, right? I mean, you saw the faces of, I don't know who the people were. I thought it was them. Thank you for pointing that out. But the three individuals there in the front, they were just struck with you knew there's no way in hell I'm answering that question. There's no way I will put a name to that. I won't even respond to it because it is so true.
Well, the fascinating thing for me is like, why didn't any of them speak up and say, you're right? There is no name on there that's not, doesn't justify the death of that terrorist general, Solomon. So
I would say that their silence, though, in this case, is their consent. The fact that they didn't have a name, because that was the question. Right? In other words, there is no justification. This man killed thousands and thousands of people, if not millions, potentially, right? Because he's involved with many, many other things as well that aren't even being, we don't even have to highlight, right? Yeah. But there's a lot of things, these guys, when they do these mass genocidal murders, which he has been a part of. And he's one of the main reasons why we talk about Iran as being the key sponsor for terrorism.
Right. He's been there since the hostage taking 40 years ago.
And if he's such a saint, why are they protesting? Why are they trying to free themselves? Shouldn't they all be thrilled to be, being held hostage by the Islamic Brotherhood? Shouldn't it just be like, hooray, we're Muslim, it's wonderful, right?
Right, but the mainstream media took the opportunity to basically support the Iranian talking points, show the Iranian videos of the paid protesters, right, where they're passing out black scarves so people could wear it. You give them your scarf, right? He'll give you a black one. I don't know if you saw that in these crowds, right? So when they go and they want to get people, so they're going to get people paid, right? How do they track it, right? Well, right. You turn your black scarf in at the end and you get paid.
Wow.
Okay. So they have this process with all those people coming out. Yeah, I want to get some money today, right? And then, to America, right? And then they get paid. So, but it's the people that are not getting paid, the people that are there that if they say death to the Ayatollah Khomeini, or however you say his name, it's a different.
The Supreme Commander Ayatollah.
yeah, but the last name is like the Khomeini part is the right, but there's another name.
Khomeini, right.
Yeah, but anyway, but death to the mullahs, right? They're taking their life in their hand. They could be killed. It's just
those are people that actually stand for something, right? Versus people that are probably in a desperate situation who have to pay, put food on the table,
right.
And this is what they do. They create a desperate situation. So when they give you a horrible choice, right, you're willing to do it because you got to feed your kids, right? That happens all the time.
And then they feed, and then they do that protest, and then they go do their real protest for America afterwards. So this is going to flip. We're going to see Iran flip now, because they're, I don't know if you've caught this, but Trump is adding more sanctions on Iran right now.
Well, he's demonstrating that there's other weapons to use in warfare. Yeah. You don't have to kill people, right? You can just suffocate the ones who are killing people, right? You can make it so they have no way to stay in power. Then the people there become the number one weapon. The people who want their independence and their freedom, we are now supporting them by cutting off the bloodline to the head, right? And now they'll be able to stand up on equal ground, because at some point when you cut off that, I mean, we're everybody's number one cash cow, right? Everybody makes money off of what we're doing, right? Because we're the consumers. So this cuts them off. So I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it's all coming together, like the 18.
Yeah. I was sorry. I was just looking to see. I want to make sure I lined up the Brian Mast his video, because I want to pull upon. I want to save it off. But so this is to see that where we have this momentum already happening with there in Iran, and apparently it was if you take the clues that was given by the White House through QAnon, that it was literally Kim Jong-un that helped find this guy. Right, it's his intel. Right, so that's coordination. That's to eliminate problems in the world, to move things forward.
Now that's an incredible. Now they won't talk about this.
No.
President Trump took our arch nemesis and just made them an ally.
Yes.
Right? That's incredible. I mean, it's unheard of. We would all think that's impossible, right? Because we're all trained to hate. Like, we still think Russia is an enemy. Like, come on. Russia's not an enemy. Like, not since Rocky IV. Like, give me a break. This is ridiculous. It's a fabricated reality they've created, right? To constantly pit us against each other.
Yeah, but during Rocky IV, they really were the enemy.
Yeah, then they were. Because, it's Rocky. But these things are just... It's all falling apart. It's starting to show through to anybody actually really paying attention.
So I believe I believe it. Oh, sorry. I was just to say that in history, I believe that Russia was actually part of the support for the colonialists against Britain in the beginning, right? So Russia, people were there. But what happened to Russia, right? Is the Tsar was replaced with what? Communism.
Oh, right.
Right. So was China. China was inflicted with communism. Same thing. Anywhere where there's been communism, it's been put into a position of tyranny over the people, and so this way to basically flip everything was to make it the enemy and go world war all over the place, right? Fighting communism for how many years? Until Reagan. What did Reagan do? Reagan stopped the war.
Right.
So and then what happened to communism there? It got moved out of the way.
Yeah.
But it was supported in China, right? So this system was set up to basically create a worldwide scenario for communism to win in the end, as America was used as the muscle around the world for the good sheriff, right, to go around the world beating up the bad guys and really just creating the wars everywhere, right? So that in the very end, everyone could hate America, to get rid of America, right? To breed this scenario of hatred, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you just kind of lay it out like that, it's like, yeah, because we've been all over fighting communism, but it's the same group, that's peddling democracy like it's the republic, because we're not a democracy. We're a republic.
Right. Well, that's why when they say that they're going to harm our democracy, they're really mean their democracy. They're
Right.
United States incorporated, they're cabal incorporated entities, United Nations cabal system, right? It is a democracy in that they allow for the voting of your managers in the business.
Crazy.
Which manager do you want to vote for? Oh, I vote for this manager. Oh, okay, I'll take Fred, and oh no, I want Jim. But who's giving you the selection?
Yeah. Well, so Dan, in the same vein, it's kind of a jump in topics, but it's really important to mention. I did want to put this out there.
Okay.
So Michelle Walker got some exclusive information today. She got the full affidavit describing this woman, Becky O'Donnell, who was really accused of killing Linda Collins Smith, the former state senator from Arkansas. Right? Now, she was accused of this, but what we know is that Linda Collins Smith had the information to bring the Clintons down.
Right.
She also had video on her husband's government laptop,
Right.
where he had basically filmed himself having sex with.
Wasn't he a judge?
Kids. He was a judge, right? So in the judge's chambers, he had filmed himself having sex with his kids, and she had it on film, and she was ready to bring it out. So she got killed, right? So now they bring in this Becky O'Donnell, and they try to basically say she's the one that murdered him. But then they basically had her in jail, and then now allegedly you have these two prisoners who came forward and said, "Oh, she tried to get us to go burn up her car and do some other things, right?" And so now and basically murder the judge, right? So now, after holding her for these other charges, which she's not guilty of, now they're saying that she tried to solicit murder against this judge, right? So they're trying to get her on new charges. So now this affidavit hasn't been released to anyone. We put it out, and Michelle Walker put it out already today, live. But this is like cutting edge stuff, right? This is exactly what they do. And I'm very much about let's expose how fraudulent they are to take this, this woman, Becky O'Donnell, who definitely didn't kill Linda Collins Smith. That's why they're now trying to get her on something else. So she must have information that's very valuable that would prove, whoever else is involved, right? And she's probably terrified, right? Probably terrified to say anything because everybody down in Arkansas is told by their idiot lawyers, just stay quiet, don't say anything, right? And that's what they think is the method to stay safe. But all that ever does is get people killed in prison, Arkansas, right? So she's terrified to end up dead, I'm sure. Right? I'm sure her family's being harassed and everything else by the crack team of investigators and police and the judicial system down in Arkansas, which clearly doesn't exist. So, but that broke today. I believe we're putting the whole affidavit out. Now, there's a gag order on the case, but we're not bound by the gag order. So, we're putting it out. So, screw your gag order. We're going to put it out to everybody. So, make sure we'll tell the news outlets, see if they have the courage to actually put it out. Pack of losers. They just kowtow to every single bullshit thing that they want to,
right.
Whatever you do, don't talk about the truth. I think all the mainstream media has a gag order. Anything that's true.
Yeah. That's a general gag order. If it's true, you can't.
General gag order.
You just can't say it.
Gagging on Rothschild, whatever. Anyways, so terrible. So, and that's. All that stuff happened today. It was a very big day, and we had a big meeting today with Lawful America. We started pulling together all of our state reps that were sitting out there, and man, it's moving and shaking right now.
Yep.
I'm loving it. Having a good time. I think we're going to be flying you back here to the States here pretty soon,
Well, yeah, one way or another. Yeah, it'll end up happening. I can tell from the Kringle Gold, the conversations I'm having with people, that they're pretty big people are very much interested in it because it really just breaks a barrier that's in there. So, because someone could buy, a grain of gold. If you were to buy 1 grain of gold right now, how would you do it? You'd have to find a place that had gold to grains, go online and deal with all of that. And this makes it, pretty much simple. Then once you're holding it, it's just going to be whatever the price of gold is. It doesn't matter, you don't have the physical, but it always will be that price, because we're storing that physical away. Right, and that gives a core foundational value that we keep building upon in an economy. So yeah, it's got a lot of people very interested in it. It's, someone with an 8,000 member team is very interested in it as well. Anyway, every time we start discussing it, they get very excited about it because it really it's not a vapor coin, right? Because they see that what's there is real, and we've got real people that are involved with it, right? That we can point to, right? And they have reliability in the world, right? So people can rely on that. So,
Well, I also think, taking gold across, like transferring gold quantities isn't regulated the same way that currency is, right?
right.
Gold is universal. So I actually think that eventually this will be a great way to move large quantities of money, when we need to like fund a project. I think that there's potential. I haven't talked to Kim about that, but I think that's something that because Dan and I are in agreement that like everything we're doing ultimately is going to fuse together to the same end.
Yeah, well,
I think that, Dan. I think that's going to work out.
Yeah, actually, someone, one of the other, people who've been in discussion with this, that you may know, that's involved with the purchase of some banks, that they have someone with some gold holdings that they've told about that, and they may want to move this amount of gold under the system here, a major amount, so I won't to talk about the size, but it is truly huge. That's why I think that this coin itself, gold grain coin, is going to end up being one of the top 10 this year. It's just going to, because this is the year where there's going to be so much changeover happening, and the price of gold is going to start going up. That when the price of gold continues, and it has been going up, it has been going up. So as that keeps making these $100 jumps in price, it goes. People take notice and say, well, maybe I should get gold, right? And this makes it easy. Anyway, so that's on that front. I showed you we had an email problem. I think we may have that solved today. In any case, we have 10 test accounts that we're going to be giving out to a group of 10 people that we're going to be using for testing. And so we're just going to do some back and forth with what they call a test net. So literally, it's a purchase of coins and those kind of things will happen, but it's not really. It's all fictitious money.
Yeah.
Sure. Fictitious cryptocurrency going back and forth. So from that, it's then we just dissolve all that, right, and we start over. But we want to make sure everything is functioning. So we'll probably do that today. Start with that test net, and then maybe tomorrow. Maybe the next day. Today it's the 15th, so that was my own manifestation. I always say that I've been saying this since I was mid-20s. Can't get anything done December 15th to January 15th. So go on vacation.
Right, the banks are all settling their books right until tomorrow, which is why there's a lot of synchronicity going on tomorrow. So I think we're right there.
Sometimes no matter how hard you try to push,
no matter,
that mountain don't move.
That month, exactly what you said, December 15th, January 15th, I spent so much time trying to break that rule with no success. You're absolutely right. It's such a hard time to get things done.
I mean, you could just no problem getting to parties, but
right. But you better have some money saved up.
Yeah, but I have a little bit of money for that. Yeah, I didn't go to any parties, but this is the time really to as the energy flow is definitely has changed quite a lot. I did start this broadcast talking about the volcano going off here. The energy that came from the sun. It came out. It hit our Earth like 3 days ago, something like that, maybe 4 days ago, and we have that now. The repercussions of that energy flowing into the planet, right? But it doesn't just come up as a volcano. It comes up with like the rising of the people in Iran and Hong Kong and Taiwan. All of this energy now is harnessed for the positive, and we're taking it and running with it.
It's a great confirmation to the message from the Universal Council being real. it being a real thing that anybody can see right now.
I'd like to know
You have-
who are on the council, that press the button and say, let's give them a little juice from the sun.
Right. Let's power up the people.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
hey,
it.
nice. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
all right, man. That's all I got for today.
Yeah, it's good. All right, everyone. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Everyone, be sure to subscribe, wwg1wga.love on the Telegram group as well as the website. You can give join there for free, or if you'd like to give a monthly donation of $1.11 or $8.88 a month or $99.99 a year. All of those are available, plus some others. If you'd like to give larger contributions, are listed there in the memberships. But it's all basically to help us move forward. Besides that, we'll see you tomorrow. And peace out from the Philippines. Bye-bye.